Hello everyone, Daniel here. This is a guide for maximizing performance / FPS for Black Ops 2 or any speed game, but the focus will be on Black Ops 2 since it's the game I'm speedrunning, and it's the one that is FPS dependent. So, the first off we'll start with livesplit. This tiny pesky timer actually uses a lot of resources, the reason being the decimals. The split's decimals are not important, they stand still, they don't waste any resources, so if you want you can turn them on. But the timer decimals are the problem. By default you have 2. Right now I have 1 because it's the most performance I can get and not get my runs invalid. So how to change it? Edit layout, layout settings, and first off before I go into the decimals, I'm going to start off with anti-aliasing and drop shadows. I don't care about shadows, so I'm turning them off. Maybe it spends a bit more resources, but I doubt it. It's barely a change, but I keep them off anyway. Anti-aliasing, it sucks, it's bad, I hate it, because look at how thick the text is now, and it looks clear. But if I turn it off, text is clearer and it's less thick. It's my way to go. So yeah, that's all. Maybe this will save resources, maybe not, depends. So, I'm going to go into detailed timer, or timer in general, and since I'm on detailed, I have 2 of these, which are the individual and the full game. Alright, so by default you have 0.23. This has 2 decimals by the end. This wastes a lot of resources because when the timer goes up it keeps updating, right? So 2 decimals updating actually wastes a lot more resources than actually should. Maybe bad coding, yandere dev lives, whatever. So we're gonna go into either 0.2. This is what I think makes my runs valid because accuracy and stuff, but if I keep it off it won't show any decimals. But here's the thing, like I said, splits, they don't matter. I have to show icon shadows off. I don't use icons at all, but they might waste resources. Same for icons, so I might as well turn it off as well here. So accuracy seconds, it looks the best, but if I could do it at hundreds or tenths, but it doesn't, the better off with hundreds. You can see the decimals. These don't waste resources because they're standing still, unlike the timer. So you can talk to your local mod and see if you can just allow it just for the splits and not the timer, because why would the mod care if he can see the decimals on the splits here, right? You don't need decimals for the timer in general. Like if it shows on the splits, it shows on the splits, right? At least that's what I think. It depends on your mod. But to be safe for myself, I'm gonna keep this to look nice and I'm gonna put 1 decimal. Maybe I'll talk more, maybe you'll see me with no decimals, but we'll have to see. And that's it. The velocity meter doesn't matter, it doesn't use decimals, so we're done with this. OBS settings. Now, as you can see, I'm using max settings for OBS, which isn't preferable. Let me just turn this off. Don't need it. So, OBS settings. Now, of course, I'm doing this for the most quality because I'm not playing the game, I'm not spearing it, I'm not looking for most performance, so I just want you guys to see stuff, but this is what I have it on. I'm doing recordings, not streams. I guess you can put the same settings for streams. Anyway, so standard, recording path doesn't matter, MP4, audio track 1. When you open your recording on Sony Vegas, if you have all the tracks, it's gonna have to render all of them before you can even use the recording. So having it on 1 matters because it's the only one you'll use. You don't use all the others unless you have so much stuff on your stream or recording that you need them, but I don't. X164, 800 by 600. Now I don't have this checked because this recording will look weird, so I don't have it on because it's max res here, so if it's rescaled here it's gonna look bad. But when I'm doing recordings of speedruns, I have it on and on 800 by 600. CBR, this, you can turn it lower this if you want, I don't have to. 0, and here I have it on very fast, but you can do it as fast as high as you can go, but then the recording will look more blurry, pixelated, so if you don't want it too blurry, you can do very fast. But if you don't care at all, and your stream is still viewable, then ultra fast is the way to go, my friend. So, profile, main, and tune, fast decode. 0 latency isn't good since it wastes more resources because it tries to be 0 latency, which you don't need. So fast decode because it's decoding faster, less resources. And that's all you need to do for the settings here on the output. Video, 800 by 600, 800 by 600, bilinear. the way to go. And common FPS values 30. 60 uses twice the resources or even more, so 30 is the way to go. It's not big of a deal anyway, unless you're an FPS freak, which I'm sorry. More FPS. You actually get more FPS if you use a lower FPS for the recording itself. Ironic, isn't it? So processors are already high, and that's all you have to do. That's it. Alright. Now that we're done with this, I have another tip. Before the recording, you can turn off Razer Cortex. You can turn on Razer Cortex to turn off the Explorer and other background things. Like for example, I have Hamaki on. I can turn it off. I can also clean my computer with CC Cleaner, or turn off Riot Vanguard or Skype. This is my cousin's PC, by the way. So yeah, turn off Explorer if you need it. I don't, so that's all. Now we're gonna go onto Steam and Black Ops 2. Now the reason why I'm talking about Steam here is because you know how Steam works. So it's an app of its own, and it stays in the background while play games. For example, I have the overlay turned off, but even then, Steam still uses resources because it's still active or in the background, whatever. This is my legal copy of Black Ops 2. And now, to separate it from Steam, you crack the game. But you don't crack it in here since it's a Steam directory. Why would you do that to yourself? So you're going to copy the game files here, all of these, including the players folder, that is. And then copy. And then you're going to go into Games, Black Ops 2, and copy and paste them here. Now, when you get the crack, replace all files except T6SB. The reason why is because the Autosplitter and the Velocimir use the latest Steam version of the exe to tap into, right? So the way to go is to use the latest. It won't matter for the crack will still work since the Steam will be separate now. This is cracked, this is also cracked. And since you already own the game, it's legal. You're using a legal copy to separate it from Steam. You're not making any profit out of it. Big deal, right? So yeah, you won't replace this. And now you don't need Steam anymore. You can turn off Steam from here, and there you go. Less resources wasted. Now into the game. You don't need to change the process priority for this game. It can stay on normal for all it matters. In fact, if you have it on high, then the recording will get fucked. So OBS on high and this game on normal. Right, now that we have that out of the way, and of course using all cores, have all this out of the way, let's go into the game. Of course, you're going to turn off display capture. But first off, I want to show you something. So, I have it on Windows, as you can see. The reason why I have it on Windows is because, hold on. Is because my autosplit, my timer, and Velocimir won't update if I'm on full screen. I don't know what's going on. There's something related to maybe the administrative privileges. I don't know. But if I'm on full screen, they won't update while I'm in the game. But if I alt tab, they do. But I need to be in the game for them to work, right? So that's the problem. So I keep it on Windows. If that's the same problem for you, keep it on Windows. You have to deal with a small window since it's 800x600, but you know, you get used to it. It's obviously worse than having it on full screen, stretchy 800x600, but it's what it is. But if your Autosplitter and Velocimir work on full screen like I did for my laptop, then good, you're lucky. But if you're not lucky, well, shit happens. So we're going to turn off display capture and turn on game capture. Why isn't it detecting the game? Hello? Oh, there we go. Now, before you turn on the recording, hold on, let me actually show something else. Before you can turn on the recording, you can also do this, right click, and resize output before you start recording. So it's 800x600. You can do this way too. Alright, let me turn on game capture, turn off display, and now into the game. Options, settings, and now we have screen resolution 800x600 is the lowest you can go. The way I recommend windowed or full screen depends on you. If you go on windowed full screen, you'll have the maximum resolution, so that wastes even more resources. So go on windowed, right? Okay. Field of view doesn't matter. The game is lying. Frame rate won't be affected at all, so keep that to 90. Shadows off. Shadows are a huge waste of resources in any game. I hate shadows. I keep them off or low on any other game I can. Okay? Okay. Subtitles off. Since the way I have my Velocimirs, I have it on the bottom here. of the screen. And that's where the subtitles also are. So I keep the subtitles off so they don't conflict. Graphic content. Now while you may think it saves performance, it actually wastes time during runs. Because in some levels, the graphic content disabled actually gives you a black screen for some reason. For example, in Time of Fate, it gives you a black screen and you can't control the game. And compared to enabled, it wastes time. So keep it enabled. Advanced. Low, low, off, no, off, low. Tiny. This is basic. You don't need any of these higher. You don't actually need them high at all. Now into the more important part here. Sync every frame? No. Max frame per second unlimited. The reason why is because the game runs faster the more FPS you have. For example, the slow-mo cutscenes this use during the review where Salazar betrays you, the more FPS you have, the faster the slow-mo goes. Right now, I have it 60 because I'm recording at a higher resolution. It's not 100 by 600 because I can't because I'm recording right now. But it will be much higher if I do. Yeah. Now, some streams might have their stream lose frames because they're unlimited. The highest you can go is 120. Unfortunate. But the best way you can go is unlimited. If your stream doesn't lose frames or recording, you're good. You're perfect. Your slow-mo cutscenes are fast as fuck, boy. Yeah, this is the way to go. Sound. This doesn't matter, but I have them pretty high. For example, Super Crunch and on for this, so that you can hear more because this game is quite quiet. So I have this off or an NDR option, like headphones. It's pretty quiet, the game. Yeah, Super Crunch and on. Now the game is more louder. Alright, there we go. Alright, now that this is done, we are done. Yeah. This is all you have to do to maximize performance in Black Ops 2. You can't do anything else, except the Explorer and everything else I said. So that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching my guide. I hope it helps. Good luck on your runs. Good luck on getting more performance. And I'll see you next time on my next video, run, update, or guide. Goodbye.